Hello everyone, welcome to the MNLCS. We're going to be starting for our Friday night cast with, today it's going to be Dewey Daddy as your play-by-play caster and Madcast Fenris as your color caster for tonight. And we're going to go straight into the game for UMD Ram Ranch versus McAllister. We've already started pick ban phase just because the link is being a little finicky. So I've started, we have Ashley and Renekton banned out for the side of UMD Ram Ranch, and Ari, Zyra, and the third ban is yet to happen. How do you think this game is going to go with the current bans that we see?
It seemed like some pocket bans to me. I mean, the Ari Zyra ban seem okay, but Renekton, Talia, Ash. Obviously, there's a reason behind some of these bans, so obviously McAllister must play these champs quite a bit. And there's the Lulu ban that's pretty much 100% pick ban there, which is understandable.
Yeah, Lulu is an incredibly strong support right now. Zyra also fairly strong, but at the same time, I don't think it's really ban-worthy unless if we just have it where Kyle is that good of a Zyra player. However, we do see that Karma is now being hovered, one of those supports that, if locked in, is a great follow-up when you have the Lulu Zyra banned.
Yep, definitely. I would 100% agree with that. Those kind of like Lulu Karma, I think, they should be pick ban at all times, and the fact that UMD has Karma and McAllister isn't going to have Lulu, I'm guessing they're not going to play Janna or any type of shield champions, so UMD already has a free lane pretty much. Okay, so there's a Nami. It's a good answer into the Karma. It allows to sustain some of the poke that Karma does give out, close to the amount of lane pressure that Karma is able to give as well.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, though, is that just Karma has a much wider range of pressure than Nami has. Just because Nami is restricted to a very medium-sized amount of range with her bubble and her W. Meanwhile, Karma, with her Q, is a pretty far-range skill shots, as well as being able to really affect allies from a great distance, especially if you use the Mantra Defiance to speed up your team into battle.
Vroom, vroom.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we see that Varus is going to be the AD carry locked in with that Nami, so having to wear Varus, a champion who's very good when you can use auto attacks between every single spell, and then having to wear Nami can enhance his auto attacks to slow and deal extra damage, is a pretty nice synergy, as well as adding in sustain where Varus is lacking.
Definitely. I like that. Yeah, I mean, with those new Varus builds coming out, just like full attack speed, he'll be able to get the 3 Nami empowered autos off instantly, so that'll add a nice little chunk of damage for Varus there. We can see the Ivern coming out of UMD. With this new patch, I think he's actually dropping out of the meta well, not dropping out of the meta, but I think he did get a little weaker. I mean, most junglers did because of the experience nerf, but I think it definitely hurt Ivern because he wants to power farm that jungle, and now he can't get as much experience as he once did, and we also have Caitlyn coming out here.
Yeah, and I think another huge thing with the Ivern change in this most recent patch was the fact that you can no longer obscure vision of an epic monster such as the Dragon or Baron simply by placing a brush on top of it. Instead, now you have to surround it with brush in order to make it so that they can't see within where the brushes lie. Otherwise, if you place one directly on top of it, they can still see it.
I absolutely adore that because, man, those games where you're against the Ivern and the other team has a little bit more control than you, you're pretty much screwed. Like, they can just take any objective they want because you can't. If you want to face check, you're just gonna get rooted and die. So, that's actually an amazing nerf there.
Yeah, exactly. But speaking of that whole idea of having a face check, they actually lock in Rek'Sai, which is a pretty good answer if you ask me, just because you don't have to worry about the face check. You can have that tremor sense as well as the prey seeker in order to scout out all the brushes that Ivern is going to lay down, as well as be able to see if there's anyone moving within those brushes.
Definitely.
Yeah, and aside from that, we can see that some of these bans coming through are going to be Poppy on the side of McAllister and then a LeBlanc ban from UMD Ram Ranch. So right now, both the top lane and mid lane has yet to be locked in for either team, and that is going to be where these bans are focused. Ooh. So Fizz and Rumble are going to be the next bans following up with that. What do you think about those bans? Fizz I can understand. Rumble I'd say is a little more questionable just because I couldn't see them picking a Rumble onto McAllister's current team where they don't have too much to work with him.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I suppose, I mean, Rumble with the Ivern root is pretty potent. I mean, anything that can pair up with that, but I don't know. It was an interesting band there. Thought it was okay. We got Oriana coming out. We're probably going to see some shockwave combos with those Rek'Sai tunnels for sure. It's a great delivery system there.
Yeah, and especially if you can knock everyone into a single pile, you can have a Nami bubble follow-up with a tidal wave, and then even the corrupting chains coming in from Varus, just making for an immense amount of lockdown and AoE damage if you also have that Varus with a Ruinous Hurricane. Meanwhile, on the side of your MD Ramratch is going to be a Syndra locked in, and what do you think may be their last lock in? They are hovering Gragas right now.
Yeah, get that fat man running around again. Man, that guy is so strong right now, I feel like. I mean, we saw it in the last game, or the last series, I think. It was, what was it? It was the other Duluth team that was running Greg, I believe. And okay, they go J4. But Greg is able to just completely control team fights. But I think J4 is also pretty good right now. He can do a ton of damage and also build tank. So that's pretty nice. He should be able to pop any squishy that's around.
Yeah, and the biggest thing to remember is that when you mentioned building tank, that tank style build has actually been very well synergized into his kit recently due to the change on his W, making it so that it now scales off of your missing health for every single champion that you are nearby. So instead of having it where it's simply a flat amount for every champion that you hit with the AoE slow, it's now just a much stronger shield that varies based on your build and when you decide to actually utilize it. All right, and we have it where the picks and bans are done. People can now move over to the client side to finish up everything. We have it where the teams are finalized, and we'll be seeing them now on the client go through. What do you think about that final lock-in with the Fiora to go against the Jarvan?
I mean, I like it. Generally, Fiora into any kind of champion that's like J4 is able to just, you play the lane correctly, you're going to win lane. She can parry his abilities and cut out a lot of J4's kit that he actually needs to get a kill. If he doesn't get that, he's in there, and Fiora should be able to take him down if he goes deep. I really like that pick. We'll have to see if he's comfortable on it, but it'll be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, and one thing I'm also kind of curious about is whether or not they're going to be applying a lot of pressure towards this top lane, because I feel like if the Fiora can get any bit ahead against Jarvan, then you could easily have that lane snowball out of control and turn all of your resources from that point forward onto other lanes.
Yeah, that definitely looks like a win condition for McAllister. If Fiora does get rolling, I don't see really any champion that could deal with her. Maybe Syndra could get, a nice ult off on her or something like that. But if she does get ahead of J4, this game could spiral out of control.
Yeah, exactly. The only other way I could really see them dealing with a fed Fiora is if they have great wave management on the side of Ramranch and can then force Sunny Jesus into a situation where he is not able to successfully split push fast enough to cause pressure compared to the amount that's being brought out from Ramranch, and instead has to join the team fights where Fiora really does not shine.
Alright, so we got the picks locked in here. We can see some summoner spells. It looks like it's going to be pretty standard. I do see the Exhaust on Oriana versus Syndra, which seems okay. And we have the Ignite on the Nami bot lane. Exhaust. I think that's pretty interesting. I think bot lane right now, support-wise, those summoner spells really do mean a lot. And they really do change how each lane should be playing. That Exhaust brings so much power early to mid-game, and it can absolutely win you a fight. And with those Exhaust nerfs we saw come out a little while ago, they definitely were very potent against, or the Exhaust nerfs were potent against the spell itself. It definitely got a lot weaker.
Yeah, it got a lot weaker, and with that, we've been seeing a much higher increase in the amount of Ignites that are taken instead. And one thing that I think could also go into play here is the fact that the range in which you can apply Exhaust is actually smaller than Caitlyn's mere auto attack range. That makes it so that it's not as effective unless if you force yourself close to the Caitlyn, which at that point, you're already bringing yourself into a massive amount of threat range, and that's why I think the Ignite could be a little bit better, because at least in lane you could choose to use the Ignite on Karma instead, and it won't necessarily be wasted.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be honest, I'd kind of like to see Kyle take Ignite here and, you know, match blow for blow here, because I suppose the exhaust would be nice for Fiora late game, but also an Ignite would work pretty well for her too if she gets all her procs off on her ultimate. But Caitlyn Karma bot lane here is one of the most pristine bot lanes you can get. It's safe, it allows pressure, it has kill pressure, it's got everything you want. So I think the bot lane here should be set for UMD. We'll see if McAllister is able to, you know, sustain through this pressure that they're going to be able to provide.
Exactly, and with that whole Caitlyn Karma lane, you have it where they synergize on so many levels. You have it where they both have excellent poke from a very far range, coming through auto attacks, Karma through her Q mostly. They have it where they can layer CC on top of each other, Karma having her snare be a direct targeted spell, having easy follow-up from a Caitlyn trap, offering a huge amount of follow-up damage. And then you also simply have it where Caitlyn already has enough safety due to her range and her caliber net, and Karma can add even more through the Defiance, simply making it so that she can run even faster if necessary. Yeah, so that is exactly what you're mentioning. However, I can see the Varus Nami also coming into play here, just because Nami offers that sustain, which really negates that poke that the Karma and Caitlyn lane want to bring to the table, while Varus, his abilities outrange both that of Caitlyn and Karma, so he could potentially offer poke back himself, and if he times it properly to avoid it when Karma can use that Defiance, it will go through and still chunk health bars.
Definitely. That's a very good point. I mean, also, when he gets to 6, I think this lane does kind of take a little bit of a turn. You know, they're going to be able to lock down one of the enemy champions, which I think is what they want to do, because the Karma can, you know, give them that mobility and stuff like that. But if you're locked down, they should be able to have enough damage to actually pop one of them. What do you think about the 2v2s, top and mid here? We got Ivern J4 versus Rek'Sai Fiora topside. I would probably give that to McAllister. I think it's pretty close, but I don't think Ivern provides enough pressure early on to actually duel topside.
Yeah, the biggest pressure I could see is if Hear Me Roar decides to start towards the bot side jungle and Ramraj is able to spot that, they could pull off that classic Ivern cheese of having where Ivern starts by his own blue side and then immediately runs over towards the enemy red side and steals that over, which an early red buff on a Rek'Sai is so vital for those early ganks, because yes, you do have that knockup early on, but at the same time, after that knockup, you want the red buff for the continued slow. And well, you said it before, Ivern wants to hard clear really early on, and he is able to do that in the enemy's own jungle to where there's very little way to play around it.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch this Ivern. Let's see how he does. It's always fun to watch that tree just walking around, prancing around, taking jungles. I want to see him buy a poacher's dirk. Why not? You know what I mean? Just throw some BM in the guy's face. Here's my poacher's dirk. I'm going to get this thing capped off. Nothing you can do about it.
I highly doubt that that's going to happen, just because poacher's dirk doesn't really go along with Ivor's stats. He wants the ability, power, and the resistances for support itemization, not necessarily lethality. I doubt he's going to build for that.
Dude. Let's go.
Yeah, all right. Lethality Ivern, I guess, going to be a new meta. Who knows? Night 3 video coming out. We all know what's going to happen.
Looks like we're getting in the game, and let's get ready to rumble.
Oh, but we can't. He's banned.
Huh?
We can't rumble. He was banned. Remember?
A good point. Yeah. All right, so we got UMD.
Ooh, the immediate pause. Oh, Kyle D-Seed. Okay, so we're going to be waiting for Kyle to return back into the game. As you were saying, though, you were mentioning UMD.
On the bottom side, wait, I think my colors are switched. Bottom side is blue, top side's red.
Yeah, no, that's what it is.
On the blue side, we got UMD. We got Snowcane top lane with that J4. We got Cripple on the Ivern.
Cripple.
cripple. We got nerf Akali, please, mid playing Syndra. That's interesting. We got Kakarino, bot side on that Caitlyn, alongside the one and only XO, but it's not XO now, but that's how I remember him, and that's how we love him.
Oh yeah, especially last season when he had that name. It was amazing. He did change it to Catholic XO for a short time. He's been notorious for name changes. However, we still have a McAllister on the red side. Want to go ahead and give them an introduction?
Yeah, sure. We got Sunny Jesus. Look at that name. That's a great name. On that Fiora, going to be going against that J4. We'll see how that top lane matchup comes. Hear Me Roar on the Rex side. That's a good name for Rex side. We got No Boots on Orianna. Le Condor on Varus bot lane, and Formic Nightfall on that Nami. We're going to see some great plays coming out here. I'm excited to see it. And we got McAllister fanning out, it looks like, and UMD's kind of playing towards their bottom side. Pretty standard.
Alright, now here's one thing I want to ask you. As an AD carry player a few patches ago, we used to see where it was quite common for champions such as Varus to build a Lawn Sword first with 3 potions to give a little more lane sustain, but looks like Lakondor decided to opt for the Dorn's Blade. Did that whole Lawn Sword start kind of fall out of meta, or do you know a better reason behind why he is opting for Dorn's Blade now?
I'll be personally honest with you. I think both are equally viable, and I really think he should have went Longsword 3 here, just because of the poke. I think it's a great way to just sustain through. Doran's provides a lot more kill pressure. It really does. It makes you a lot stronger, but you don't have nearly as much sustain. He does have the Nami there, but I still think having 3 of those pots would be really nice. I don't think it fell out of meta. I don't know. I mean, obviously with the lethality changes, if you can't rush that item as much anymore.
Yeah, but what about something like an Essence Reaver Rush on the Varus? I know, or you could also go straight toward that Blade of the Ruined King, since that would also build into a Vampiric Scepter. So that's why I was kind of curious.
Still ways you can definitely implement, that item. As you can see, good trades bottom lane already for UMD.
Yeah, and other than that, we have it where right now there's already some trades coming towards the top side as well. Sunny Jesus taking a lot of poke damage from the Snowcane, having it where the Grasp of the Undying is coming into play huge here already. Alright. So, how do you think this lane is going to be going? We already see a lot of damage coming through on both sides, and both of them have already burned through 2 potions. Snowcane.
Sunny Jesus is sitting here trying to trade. He has the early parry. Not bad, but he's dangerously low. J4 could combo him, and he misses the knockup, but I think he just gets the turnaround kill on Fiora. First blood going to Snowcane.
Whew, that was a lot of early aggression. The Sunny Jesus wanted to try and get an early snowball on, but ended up going really poorly for him. And now that means that this lane, which we did mention before, is going to have a huge impact on the rest of the match, is really already falling out of favor for Sunny Jesus.
Yeah.
And the rest of McAllister.
And I wouldn't count her out yet, but for another 10 minutes, I'd count her out. I mean, she'll probably be getting dumped on for a while now, but there will be a time that comes where Fiora will be stronger than pretty much any champion in this game once she's getting towards full builds. We got to remember that.
Yeah, that's very true. A Lakin Fiora can be beaten by basically no other champion except maybe Jax or a Master Yi, but they are not in this match.
Yep.
And one thing I do want to simply talk about real quick is going to be the way that we can already see Snowcane building towards a Black Cleaver, or actually no, it's going to be a Tiamat. Possibly a Titanic Hydra.
Flash here out of Syndra.
Yeah, that was actually a really quick flash burned out to make sure that he's going to be safe in lane. And, ooh, a lot of
lands on a Kakarino, he gets ignited, nets out, and look at that. Karma is able to just give him that shield and save him.
Yeah, that was actually one summoning spell burned for none. However, Kakarino is going to be very low here. He has to utilize that Warlord's Bloodlust that he has in order to make sure that he can survive the rest of this lane, because they are pushed up, and if they are not careful, Hear Me Roar could come down and try and go for a gank. However, he is currently on the top side jungle. It's just unknown to them, so it seems a little risky.
I think it's important for this bot lane if they're going to be getting poked like that. UMD side, they need to at least keep lane pressure so they don't start losing farm or anything like that. I liked how Kakarino saved his heal there. He had the Ignite on him. If he would have healed, it would have gone for less. So that was smart of him, and that was very patient of him, and I like that. And we can see this Fiora is just non-stop aggression on Snowking. Always trying to get his vitals procced every time. Here he goes again!
Yeah, and sadly enough, though, the vital actually swapped over last second.
Did it?
So it does not get procced. Yeah!
I didn't see it.
Yeah, it just swapped last second, so it never got procced. It was kind of a feels bad man moment right there. Alright, but actually one thing we did forget to mention, though, was that Sunny Jesus opted into saving his teleports and instead walked back to lane completely. He is not behind that much farm, which is a little bit surprising because he spent so much time walking back to lane rather than simply using teleports. But that does keep him on equal global pressure as Snowcane, although he may die here.
Here comes Cripple. On to Snow Jesus, lands the root. There's no way she's getting out of this one. Another easy pickup for UMD.
You just mix their names together, it's Sunny Jesus. You just said Snow Jesus.
My bad.
It's fine, it's fine. Alright, either way, we actually have it where there is still Kyle pointing out a lot of poke damage into this bot lane, but we have a Reformic Nightfall on that Nami is able to keep him alive quite easily. So, kind of questionable as to why Kyle is still going for the hard poke when he knows it's going to be simply negated, and instead could be looking to roam around a bit, place wards where possible, or even try to spot out where Hear Me Roar is. He knows he can easily walk away from that champion, because this early in the game, a Rek'Sai doesn't offer too much threat aside from when he's grouped up with allies.
Yep, definitely.
She's grouped up with allies, whatever.
Yeah. Hear me.
It's a giant void shark. I don't think we care too much about whether or not it is a specific gender.
I would agree with that. See Rek'Sai just posturing here, just trying to get some information on where Duluth is. I'm sure he's trying to get some pressure off that Fiora topside. Although she's winning in farm by 1, this is definitely scary.
Yeah, this is already a 2-kill lead on Snowcane, and she is still going for this trade.
I don't know. I feel like she's just playing too hyper aggro here. J4 is able to just keep continually poke her out, and I mean, we'll see. But okay, Ivor's topside. He walked past division though.
Yeah, and one thing that does need to be noted right here is that Cripple is now level 6, so that means he's going to be having Daisy when he goes for these future ganks, and Daisy is going to be adding a lot of kill pressure into whatever lane he decides to join in, especially if it is bot lane, because he can immediately follow up, as long as Daisy lives, straight to the Dragon and easily secure it without taking much damage to himself.
Yep, for sure. Oops. Nice, okay, looks like we got to fight topside. Fiora's going for all the vital procs, does not get the last one for ultimate. But it's a reasonable trade for her, but she doesn't have her ult up anymore, and that's why we can see that Rek'Sai coming up topside, because he knows that J4 is going to get thirsty soon.
Yeah, part of this could also be just more skying around. Hear Me Roar still only level 5. Not really opting into going for the hard farming style to make sure that he will have that level 6 spike.
Comes in mid though, Shockwave lands on Nervicali, knock up 2, this looks like it's going to be a dead Syndra. Alright, and that's blue buff over to that Orianna right after Syndra picked it up. That hurts.
Yeah, and the beautiful part about that is the fact that they knew the timer on that flash and were able to abuse it. Now we can see that there's still some aggression going on topside.
J4 lands Cataclysm, but you're able to just slip right through the crack.
Yeah, still gets the damage out though, so that is going to be a huge chunk and a possible threat for a dive here under tower if Snowkin wants to go for it. I think he has a damage, but I'm not too sure if he can survive it.
Yeah. He's got to be careful with, that parry. If she parries correctly, he'd be screwed under that turret.
Yeah, overall, it would be a better option right now to simply farm up, shove this wave, and then possibly back, but
no, she goes in! Wow.
Yeah, there is a full minion wave there. Why are you going in? You know that once you get the Q off, it's going to aggro minions.
The damage J4 is dealing with. J4 just doesn't care right now. He's hard pushing this lane, forcing Fiora out.
Yeah, he is putting a lot of pressure here, and the teleport is down on Sunny Jesus. That means that he will be able to get a lot more tower damage right here. Since Hear Me Roar is also gone, however, it is up to him whether or not he wants to try and actually damage his tower or simply back right away. Back him right away is the better option. It looks like he's going to be doing that.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
I agree with that.
Meanwhile, it looks like the rest of his team is really setting sights towards this dragon, gaining plenty of wards around it. We have one ward on the blue buff right now, and it looks like Cripple wants to go ahead and steal that. Former Nightfall smelling something going on, as well as Hear Me Roar really be caught here.
Ooh, Bubble lands as well as the root. I think he's just going to be able to walk out. Rek'Sai throwing a few darts at him. But look at that nice, clean steal by Ivern.
Yeah, and now we can already see that that is going to be playing a bit of a huge role here, since Nerfakali Please could easily wander over at any moment to pick up that blue buff if he wants, although it may be Kyle picking it up right here. Yeah, he's going to be walking over and picking it up for himself, so that's going to be a blue buff Karma.
That's a little scary.
Ooh, it's also a red buff Caitlyn, so that's going to be even more terrifying. Just think about that damage is going to be dished out to Lakondor and Formic Nightfall in any all-ins.
More trades topside. I mean, this lane has just been crazy already, and
yeah, the biggest thing.
Pressure about him.
The biggest thing we can see about that top lane is going to be the CS differential right now being 20 in favor of Snowcane.
Yeah.
And I really don't know how Sunny Jesus is going to try and turn this around for himself, unless if he goes for a bit of a farm game from this point out and try to outscale Snowcane. And I think that would be one of the better options right now, unless if he gets a lot of pressure from either Nerfagai Please or Cripple.
And we got a big play coming in here, bot. Rek'Sai's coming in behind. Nami wave ults. Lands 2 and gets the double bubble. Force ult lands. This is going to be a dead Caitlyn. She heals. She flashes and she's out. TP's coming in. Snowcane jumps in. He's going to just knock one up. Another TP from Fiora. Tucker Rhino's really low. Sunny Jesus dropping to a down! Ivern, look at Daisy popping off. Shockwave lands on a Snowcane. Syndra, all no boots, down. UMD looks like they're gonna win this one.
That is
Tommy going out as well. Root on to Rek'Sai. They're gonna pick maybe one more up. Flash Syndra. Wow, what a UMD just turn it around. What a great start for McAllister, but they just weren't able to get enough damage at Kokorino.
Yeah, that was a beautiful play coming in from UMD Brand in order to secure themselves that full team fight. We had it where the teleport from Snowcane ended up being beautiful with the Cataclysm, locking every single person down, giving a lot of time for Karka Rhino and Kyle to deal tons of damage to them. And then Nerfakai Please coming in to make sure that no boots can deal any form of damage to the team that was really worth it. The only thing they ended up really doing was gain a shockwave onto Cripple, as well as Kyle, but it didn't really deal too much damage, since right now we don't even have that finished Namicon from either mid laner just yet.
Yeah, for sure. She needed to be more patient on that, I think. Just because if she doesn't have a lot of damage on that shockwave, there's no reason just to ult one person, because it's only going to CC one person. That's what you really kind of want to use it for. I think if she would have been a little more patient and allowed Duluth to, you know, actually kind of try to turn it, and then she pulls the trigger. I think she pulled the trigger a little too early, but it was a very close fight. It could have went each way, and obviously the trade's top. Migos just hitting on that Sunny Jesus.
Yeah, he already has a very well-cemented lead. The finish Black Cleaver as well as Ninja Tabai are going to be doing an immense amount of damage reduction towards Fiora, who is very auto-attack and proc-reliant. The true damage will still go through, but any form of physical damage is going to be greatly mitigated here, which just means that there is no real way that Sunny Jesus is going to be able to burn through Snowcane.
Okay. A little brawl here in the river. Looks like Ivern's coming up to help. Okay, they're just gonna walk on out, it looks like. Kakarino he's getting hit by a lot of bubbles and poke, but his health is still full. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, he does have that Warlord spot, so he's going to be gaining a lot of health back, especially if you can ever combo it with one of those headshot procs. It's just going to be doing an immense amount of healing for himself. And it looks like Snowcane, even though he has Cataclysm, does not really want to use it until it's a guaranteed kill, at least just because Sunny Jesus and Hear Me Roar could easily go out of it themselves. So he may want to save for someone else, such as Lakondor or No Boots. Speaking of, you can see No Boots walking in that river, gain some vision down, so they don't really know where Ivern is, just because he has not been spotted by a ward yet. It looks like they're actually going to try and sneak this dragon.
Starting that drag.
Dark for McAllister.
Look at that. He warded off the choke, so I don't think red team can see the dragon, like you said. Ooh, Cataclysm coming on, blows the flash out of Fiora.
Oh, nice that play. Is so sad, though. He tried going for the flag and pull combo and ended up completely missing because the flag was pulled way too short, so I ended up not getting any lockup or damage on Slimy Jesus, which could have been a kill. At the same time, it would have been diving under tower, which would have been pretty risky.
Yeah, definitely. We got Rek'Sai coming up. I'd like to say Snowcane's doing really well with this pressure. Let's see if he can get out of this when he uses his Q, so he's not going to have an escape tool. Knocked up. Put in the ground. He used his escape tool right as Rek'Sai showed himself. It was pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, but at the same time, it could have been Hear Me Roar simply waiting patiently to make sure that that escape tool would be used before trying to go in, which is a great way that most junglers love to play. And also, we saw that Snowcane utilize the Cataclysm and tried that all in on Sunny Jesus. With Sunny Jesus having that Corrupting Potion, can easily sustain back up right afterwards. So I really love the way they played that out. And it's exactly as we mentioned before, where if you allow the jungle pressure to come in and still help out Sunny Jesus, he can easily try and climb back up to get a lead for himself, just because of how hard Fiora scales with items.
As we can see, Duluth got a nice trade though, taking Tier 2 tower bot side. So that was a nice mad movement by Duluth. And Fiora is unable to take the top tower as well. So Duluth is still holding strong, and it looks like they're sending the bot lane up top, which is kind of interesting. I still think J4 should be trying to go against that Fiora, but maybe McAllister will lane swap themselves.
Yeah, I actually like this. It looks like McAllister will be going with that lane swap and sending some people up towards the top side. Right now, it's 3 members walking up towards there. The only person staying in mid is going to be No Boots and possibly for McNightfall. So we may see a 3v2.
Okay.
Alright, they still do not see for McNightfall or the Condor. Alright, now they see them, so they know to back off. It is not as safe there. Nerfcly, please, trying to get some ward clearage right here. And from that lane swap, they're going to be pressuring this top tower on both sides. But it's going to be allowing Snowcane and Sunny Jesus to kind of farm it out between each other, which is only really favorable for Sunny Jesus, because at this point, Snowcane has really hit the pinnacle of items.
For sure. Okay, so the bot lane just went up top, and it looks like they're going to be alone up there. Karma was able to get some deep wards, but Rek'Sai actually cleared those wards, and I'd say it's very important for this top side to actually have deep wards if you're pressuring that tower, because it is very easy for McAllister to rotate up and, you know, to collapse on that team. But as you can see, we got J4 up here himself. Looks like they're going to try to pressure this turret.
Ooh, will they be able to go for a kind of dive right now? No, they will not, but there's a tidal wave.
Wasn't able to finish the tower. Snowcane getting locked down, but hey, he got out. Redemption came through from Kyle Exo. Very nice play. Ignite onto Kakarino. A little early there.
Yeah, end up getting not any kills. Snowcane does get out, burns his flash forward. Meanwhile, there's still aggression going on.
J4 goes in. Shockwave lands on the like 4. That's a 3-man bubble, beautiful bubble, but just the damage coming out of that Syndra is ridiculous. Kakarino's still going deep, diving in. Syndra flashes in, gets a stun of Condor. Condor looks like he's going down here.
Alright, so that means that that's going to be 3 kills over for the side of UMD rematch. They have built up a massive lead for themselves. The biggest thing is going to be this top lane differential, with Snowcane being 3-1-4, Sunny Jesus only 0-4-1, and a 35 farm difference, making it so that there's no real way for Sunny Jesus to put any amount of pressure into this game. He does not have any crowd control that is reliable. His damage is going to be quite weak right now, and he is far too squishy to join any team fights to be useful. Meanwhile, Snowcane maybe getting caught out.
Yeah, he's just gonna flag and drag his way out. I love it. Love watching J4's escape and stuff and doing crazy things with those abilities. Great interactions.
Yeah, it's always nice whenever Riot can make those champions with these surprising characters.
Yeah, without, you know, 3-hit passes or something like that, XD.
Yeah, that's always a common theme of Riot's too. And we do have it just as a reminder, there are those new champions that got released, and as a quick note, they will not allow to be played until the next set of games, just because it is still the initial round of playoffs. But let's get back into this game. We have it where we see Nerfcly please picking up the blue buff for herself, so that means that there's going to be an immense amount of wave glue coming through, as well as having the Urnal Nawakon, so it's essentially a manaless Syndra at this point. The only real thing would be if it's literal Q spam off cooldown every single time. And it's going to be adding a lot of tall pressure here.
Yeah. Kylix walking up, getting vision. What is Rek'Sai doing? He tunnels in. He's going to get rooted down. So they're going to have the damage. Syndra ults him, and he lives. But Nami Wave in return.
Yeah, just barely living thanks to the shielding from No Boost. And
Bubble lands on the Kakarino. Shockwave lands, but it doesn't matter. He just destroys Varus on the flank. And it looks like they're just going to be able to pressure this mid tower. J4 is looking for the dive. Are they going to get it?
Yeah, right now, No Boots only has the Sorcerer Shoes as well as Muranomicon for terms of damage, which is not going to be too much.
Comes the dive. Okay, just pounding on Orianna. Says goodbye. You're mine. And taking the mid tower down again.
Yeah, whenever it's the tier 2 tower and there is a lot of pressure coming in from the team, you usually want to back off and just defend the inhibitor tower, because now look at it, your main form of wave clear is gone, and you have nothing to defend this tower, and that's going to mean an open inhibitor.
Caitlyn is just swinging fists with fury, just unbelievable play at a Kakarino. He's just being comfortable and just not afraid and able to just consistently put out damage. Even if he's getting hit by CC, he's got the Ivern, he's got the Karma, he's got Syndra stun coming in behind him, and look at that. UMD coming in hot, taking the first inhib of the game. Yeah, now we have it where the teams are trying to recuperate here. There is yet any reset coming in from UMD Ramage, but they still want to go for these fights. Root on Ori, nice 3-match shockwave, but it doesn't matter again. Redemption came through. Kakarino gets Varus ulted. Let's see if he can get out here. Chain of Corruption spreading through the team, but man, Syndra just pops. Jesus. Bye!
Okay, I love that.
The Condor just getting poked out again, but it looks like Duluth's going to take Ocean Drake for their troubles.
Yeah, and that Ocean Drake is going to make it so that next time they go for these long fights and multiple fights, they will be sustaining up right in between them, which is going to be incredibly good, especially since we have it where Nerf plays going to be running out that blue buff real soon, so you need the mass sustain in some other form. Most likely going to be seeing the either Death Cap or the... I could not remember the... Luden's Echo finished up. I could not remember the name for some reason.
What do you think about Luden's Echo? I always think it's an interesting item. I just like never know like when I should actually get that item. Like I just feel weird about it.
It's a good second or third item, mostly if you are against a team that you will have to be chasing due to the 10% movement speed bonus. And Kyle,
he's been doing this a lot. He runs into the jungle with no fear.
Yeah, he did try getting some warding down, didn't really place anything yet, and already a ward getting cleared out from that spot. Trying to make sure that he can have vision control of this jungle, which as a support, that is incredibly important, especially when you have Baron up. You want to make sure you can control the area and simply allow your team to power down the objective without any threats. And as you were saying for the Luden's Echo, it's like a good second or third item, and I think it's only really good if you're snowballing ahead due to the extra damage. Kind of like you don't want to build a Lich Bane if you're behind, but if you're ahead, you always want to build a Lich Bane on people such as Victor or who are some, honestly I don't know other people that build Lich Bane.
Yeah, but TF maybe, or actually TF,
oh yeah,
I know that, but
yeah. But for people like Victor, that's more situational if you're ahead. With other cases,
PP coming in. Nami wave coming in. They're still starting this Baron. Look at Cuck. He just doesn't care. Fiori's on alone by Fiora. Fiora flashes on him, but she's just going to get deleted. Shockwave on a Snow Cane alone just for Peel. Kakarino just sniping that fish out of water. I didn't think bullets could go through water, but I guess they can.
Yeah, and that is going to be... Yeah, No Boots and the Condor are still up, and that's going to be the biggest form of wave clear coming in from McAllister, so I don't think they can go for an end here, but a Baron is definitely something they can go for. Hear Me Roar is still nearby, actually stopping his own back to see if he can potentially go for a steal here, and it looks like that's what he wants to do.
Oh! A little too early, but that was a good attempt, I'd say.
Yeah, that was definitely way too early, and now that's also going to mean a dead jungler for this next fight, as long as they try and initiate something real soon. However, with those resets coming in, they're finally making purchases here, and we can see huge item spikes coming in from all sides. Right now, Caitlyn finishing up that rapid fire cannon, as well as a almost completed redemption coming in from Kyle. And it's just going to be massive in these team fights. If you have the double redemption, the Lock of the Iron Solari, and soon to be the Athene's Unholy Grail coming in from Cripple as well, I just don't see any way to kill the carries.
Yeah, I don't. This game looks like it's almost in the bag. I mean, just those amount of shields is absolutely ridiculous. It's gonna be ridiculous. I think McAllister's only chance here is to try to play around vision, or I mean, at least just turret a little bit and get a pick, and just try to stall as long as they possibly can. So we'll see if they can try to do that.
Yeah, I highly doubt that's going to be happening though,
What?
because real soon.
Look at Cucurino just running in there, taking turret. He just has no cares in the world. He knows he's got Karma's got his back. He knows Ivern's got his back. He's just gonna be able to just push his face into them easy.
Yeah, and especially with all those shields, you're essentially making it where this Caitlyn can be a pseudo tank due to the amount of effective health that you're going to be increasing onto her, as well as the range that she has.
Here comes the wave. Fiora's going onto the Syndra. Is she gonna be able to get the kill? Nice parry. And Syndra goes down. What? Where did you go, Oriana? Like, you just disappeared. What the heck? Looks like this game is over.
Yeah, there is no way this game is not going to be over. Farm Knifefall is the only one left alive. We have a Rikoko Rhino is trying to get the last bit of damage onto him, but it looks like instead this is just going to be game going down. Snowcane getting the dive and actually the kill.
I know.
Alright, but the kill went over to... Wait, how'd the kill get onto Kakarino?
He actually just killed Nami. He just sniped her.
Oh, I did not even see that.
That was incredible amount of damage.
Man.
Alright, well, GG to UMD, up 1-0 in the series.
Yeah, it's going to be in a best of 3, so they could potentially go for a sweep right here if they can win game number 2. But McAllister still has a chance to come back and go for that reverse right here. So it will be just a few moments until we get into game number 2 while we set everything up. In the meantime, let's go over this game and just how crazy it was. There was so much going on, and one of the biggest things that I want to look at first is going to be that top lane matchup that we mentioned at the start was vital for either side to try and get a hold of early on, and they knew that, and Ram Ranch really played it well.
Definitely did. Wait, oh, sorry, I thought you said Ram. I thought he was actually a player, but that's their team name. I forgot. Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like Sonny Jesus didn't really understand his capabilities on that Fiora. He just constantly went hyper aggressive, and I think when you're on that Fiora, you don't want to just like hyper aggressive auto them and get your vitals off. You really want to be tactile about proccing your vitals, and you kind of just want to poke them a little bit. You don't really want to just like be taking minion damage a lot and things like that. You got to be really smart about your early trades, and it just J4 Snowcane was able to just kind of say, okay, you're going to sit here and hit me, well, I'm going to hit you. And he just simply did more damage because it's J4, and that's just what he does.
Not only that, but we also had it where Snowcane was positioning very intelligently, having it where he would stand towards the backline of his minions whenever he wasn't CSing, so that when we had it where Sonny Jesus went for those trades, he would be forcing himself to take a lot of minion damage. And then Snowcane could just whack back with a Grass of the Undying proc, giving a little bit sustained towards himself. And really, early on, there was no sustain available for the Fiora.
So what do you think, as a team, McAllister could improve on through that game? What could they learn about Duluth to use to their advantage here? Or, you know, any ideas that what they could do?
I think one big thing would be maybe doing a bit of a different type of draft phase, one where if they want to go for such an aggressive top laner, at least save that pick for a little bit later into the drafts, or maybe even a little bit earlier, if they can guarantee that the top lane for the side of Ram Ranch is going to be something that doesn't really do well against an aggressive pick such as the Fiora, or even if Renekton goes through the pick and ban, they say lock in Renekton, because that is incredibly strong against the Fiora as well.
Definitely. I feel like there's just a lot of really viable top lane champions that are incredibly safe. You got, you know, like you said, Renekton, Shen, Poppy, these kind of champions where you can kind of just sit there and AFK farm, and then all of a sudden, 25, 30 minutes into the game, you become a menace. And it's a lot easier than, trying to play a hyper carry top lane and you gotta smash your lane opponent. It's a little risky, especially with the way Sunny Jesus played. But I do think Sunny Jesus does have the potential to pop off. He played some of those team fights really well at the end and was able to get on the back line. It's just he couldn't survive long enough because of the damage that Syndra and Cuck were putting out.
Yeah, and with that, there's only one last thing for us to discuss real quick. It's going to be who we decide as player of the game. I right away want to get over to Snowcane, but I think another good contender could be Kakarina, just because of the very aggressive style that he was playing on this Caitlyn that was working incredibly well for the laning phase, and from that point on. I just want to make sure to see which one you think deserves it more.
Yeah, I would probably say Cuck, just because he was able to kind of translate, his stability bot lane. He had stability bot lane, and then he was able to translate into late game with the shields behind him and just be a menace the whole time. J4 smash lane, but I don't know. He didn't seem to do too many crazy things in team fights or anything like that. So I'm gonna have to give it to Kakarina.
All right, and you heard it here for that winner of the game, or player of the game, for game number 1 out of possible 3 is going to be Kakarino on the side of UMD Ram Ranch. And in just a few moments, we'll be coming back with game number 2. This time it'll be McAllister on the blue side and UMD Ram Ranch on the red side. Let's see whether or not the draft phase can make a bigger impact for McAllister. Alright, and we are back, going to be getting into game number 2 in just a little bit here. We are going to be having MNLCS on the blue side and UMD Ram Ranch on the red side. So one of the things that we thought was a bit of an issue for MNLCS in the last game was going to be the pick ban phase. Picking that aggressive top laner just a little too early before they knew exactly what Ram Ranch wanted to play. What do you think that they should do this time around, Dewey?
I think I'd say more of like a kind of standard, just 5v5 kind of groupy team fighty team. Because it seemed like last game there was just a lot of five-man team fights, and UMD's 5v5 team fight was pretty dang strong compared to the MNLCS. So I'd like to see maybe tank top or a hard farming jungle or something like that.
All right, yeah, that works out just as fine as well. I feel like it's been a while since we've seen that tank top matchup in a while, and personally, I prefer that for these competitive team compositions just because you want that hard, reliable engage rather than having someone that would want to snowball, at least when you can't guarantee your top laner to get ahead in a match. So it's a bit safer. However, it may not fit the team's playstyle. We may have it where Sunny Jesus simply doesn't have any real strong feeling towards tank top laners or much of a comfortable feeling for them. Alright, we should begin starting the pick bans in just a little bit. We have it where each team is getting ready. And until then, let's just take one more moment to discuss exactly a way that the bot lanes could be played differently, because we also had it where UMD Ram Ranch was allowed to have that Caitlyn Karma bot lane, which you yourself mentioned is one of the most terrifying bot lanes to have to face, just because it's so well-rounded and so powerful in every single aspect.
Yeah. Like I said, the Lulu Karma is kind of pick ban, so I really, really think that if one team isn't going to get, or if they're not going to get both of them, then ban both of them, because there's just no reason to, go against the Karma when she's just that strong in a team element. It just provides so much, and Karma, it makes it more fun, I think, because then you start having supports like, Brand or Alistar, like just these crazy, monkey supports instead of these shielding supports that are like throwing stuff at their own AD and letting them survive forever. It's just kind of resident sleeper, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's like back when you would see Soraka or a Janna in lane, but around the time is far more poke, far more sustain, but also a bit more harder engaged because there are so many supports nowadays that have that very hard lockdown. I wouldn't be surprised if we also see something such as Alistar picked to go against the more pokey supports, or even I'd be a little surprised with Leona, just because Leona isn't too reliable as compared to an Alistar.
I mean, usually range supports right now are pretty strong, because like playing an Alistar and if you pick Alistar and they go Zyra, it's pretty feels bad, man. So I think bot lane's in a really cool spot right now, and actually I think it relies a lot on the bans.
Speaking of bans, we have started the ban phase already. It's going to be Ari and Talia as the first few bans. What do you think will be the next ones?
There's the Zyra ban. That's interesting. Looks like they're really scared of Kyle's Zyra.
Yeah,
looks like it's going to be about the same bans.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that they do this time, though, either leave the Lulu open or if it's Lulu or Karma banned out here, that means that it should be a first pick from MNLCS right away, or they could even go for a first pick on a jungler such as, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Graves locked in now that the Ivern is gone.
Yeah, I mean, Graves would be a good pick here, but I just think Karma is such a good pick for MNLCS here. You get to take it away from Kyle, and you get to utilize that Karma pressure that he can get in lane and those Mantra shields throughout their team. So I'd really like to see Karma picked up here. And they go Renekton.
Oh, okay.
Thinking emoji.
Well, Renekton was left open, and Renekton is a fairly strong top laner right now. He is incredibly lane dominant, and there's only a few other top laners that can really beat him in lane. But those few top laners that can beat him in lane, such as a Darius or even, it's not too meta in the competitive scene, but something even like a Garen or, honestly, I don't even know. There's not too much that can really beat Renekton, except maybe a Rumble. That is a good answer to it.
Yeah, it's I think that's a pretty good answer. Rumble's pretty strong. He's not really going to have very much kill pressure on the Renekton, but he should be able to at least hold his own in lane. I'm just still questioning that Renekton first pick. I think he's a good champion, but like he's not at the point where it's like he's pick ban or necessary to pick first. There's just so many power picks up for McAllister, and they go with the Renekton. And as you can see, UMD is going to take their karma. They're tried and true. Kyle is almost his best champion, and he's going to be able to pop off once again and keep his AD alive.
Yeah, not only that, but that also means that there is less of an option now for that support pick, unless they just want to go with the Nami again. But we do see the Graves locked in now that the Ivern is gone. And you have to wonder what the Ram Ranch wants to do instead, because Ivern has gone with the pick last time. Graves is gone, which is another very high-tier pick. And the only other junglers that are really high-tier up there right now would be something such as Kha'Zix's Lee Sin or maybe an Elise Rengar.
Yeah. I think there's still enough junglers in there that it's not like his pool is going to get pinched. I don't think. They might want to pick it here, so if he doesn't want to get pinched, he won't with these next two bans coming out. But we could see the Nami again. I like that pick into the Karma. I think it's probably the best answer for it.
Yeah, the best answer next to Lulu, which was banned out. I still question the Zyra ban. Like, is Zyra such a good champion for Kyle to play that they do want to ban it? But we do see that they're going to be looking for Ezreal as their AD carry lock-on.
Yeah, it's Cucurino's tried and true. I'm excited actually for this one. He is an impeccable Ezreal. We're gonna be able to see that and enjoy watching that here.
Yeah, and the Ezreal makes for much greater synergy with that Rumble and Karma, just because Ezreal has a bit further range of poke than, say, with the Caitlyn from the previous match that we saw, as well as his damage being quite a bit higher in terms of the burst and poke side of things when it comes to the mid game, which synergizes with the same amount of time that Rumble will be spiking. All right. And aside from that, we have it where, again, a LeBlanc and Fizz are banned. It is still the, well, this time around, it's the jungle and the mid lane, which is left open for UMD Ram Ranch, while it is the AD carry and mid lane left open for McAllister. All right, now we have it.
Caitlyn.
Yeah, both Ashe and Caitlyn are banned out, and the Ezreal's picked up. So what do you think is another AD carry that could be picked into this? I don't know too much about AD carry matchups. I'm more focused on the support side of things whenever I play. But usually I can see against an Ezreal something like a Lucian can work pretty good. Do you think that maybe?
That's exactly what I was going to say, yep. I mean, Lucian into Karma is a little questionable, but I think if you got to play a lot safer into that. You can't just E into them because she can just root you. But as long as you hold your E, you can easily survive almost anything that Ezreal or Karma is going to try to throw onto you. I really do think Lucian here would be a really nice pick. He'd utilize well with Graves and Renekton because they're all short range, so he could kind of slide in with them and kind of be a little bit of a ball, and they could team fight correctly together. But there's some other ADs. Maybe it's got to be, I would say, like a longer range AD. But, I mean, Varus here would not be bad.
All right, and we do have a bit of an issue came up where the ban was not finalized for the side of McAllister. They meant to ban out Jarvan, which was immediately picked up by Snowcane. So we are going to see what we want to do. Okay, just real quick, going to see if there's a way to work around it.
Maybe just, like, pick a champ now for J4. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm going to see what Snowcane would have picked otherwise aside from J4.
That's interesting, though. That when we were scrimming a lot, this would happen a lot as well. At least we'd miss bans and stuff, and we'd have to tell the other team, like, we banned this champion.
Yeah, it is very easy on this format that we're using to accidentally mess it up. Okay. Okay, we're gonna have it where it's a reset of pick ban. Yeah, restart from the Jarvan pick. That's what we're gonna be doing. So where the Jarvan ban was is gonna be a simple restart. So ignore the final ban as well as the Jarvan, Lucian, Vladimir, and Victor lock-in.
They just want to replace the pick here, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be replacing the pick, so.
Just two.
Because they already locked in Vladimir, so it's unknown whether or not they could pick knowing the Vladimir is there, knowing it's not there. That's the main issue. So we're going to be having it where it's going to be the pick being done again from where Jarvan would have been picked, just to make it so that things are a little more secure for it.
Right.
All right, so we're going to be going back into this.
That's spaghetti code, dude.
Yeah, just the way that Riot set it up. All right, we are back into this. This is going to be reset up until that last ban where it should have been Jarvan. Just need to make sure that the teams correctly lock it in this time around. So we had it where it was Ahri, Zyra, Ivern, Talia, Ashe, Lulu. And all the picks should be the same up until that little point. So we have a bit more time to talk about what the teams are going to be want to be doing. So let's go through each lane matchup real quick, up until we can talk about more of where things would lie. So we have it where it's the Renekton versus the Rumble, something that I feel like should be in the favor of Rumble before the first back, because Renekton could buy something such as a Hex Drinker or even start building towards a Spirit Visage, which at that point would negate a lot of Rumble's damage and could do wonders for the team.
Yeah, definitely. I actually really agree with that. That's a good point. I think when Renekton does get his Hex, he's going to be a lot stronger than that Rumble, but before then, I really do think Rumble has the advantage. And it's kind of, he should be able to pressure a little bit harder. I mean, it's a Graves. He doesn't have a ton of CC, but that Renekton stun can come out and really bite him in the butt if he's pushing a little hard. So I think he's going to be careful with his Flame Spitter to not push too hard. And mid lane, or wait, I guess we don't know our mid, but they did pick that Lucian. They did pick that Lucian that you said. That's a good call. I think that's a good pick.
All right, so we do have it where it's going to be the Lucian versus the Ezreal Karma, with the support being Nami on the side of McAllister. So similar support matchup, different AD carry matchup this time around. Both AD carries being far more all-in or far more heavy damage focused rather than it being utility and poke oriented. And it looks like it's going to be a Vladimir mid lane locked in for the side of McAllister. So let's see what the mid lane for Ramraj is going to be.
Victor.
All right, so it will be that Victor to final out the rest of the composition as long as they lock it in. They may go for something else. Don't know. I feel like the Victor is still going to work really well with the Rek'Sai.
Yeah, Vladimir Victor, I don't know the matchup too well, but it seems like that'd just be kind of a farmy kind of matchup. Victor wave clearing, Vlad wave clearing. I do like the Vlad pick there for that team. He's gonna be, honestly, Vlad is gonna be somewhat the engage. Because they're gonna have to use Nami wave. I really think McAllister's lacking engage. They only really have Nami wave to start something, and then Vlad's gonna have to like flash ult with like Rylai's or something like that to actually start a team fight. What do you?
I think another big way they could do it would be trying to have hear me, or they could have it where No Suits could try to flank from the side in order to make it so that he could get a big slow using the Tides of Blood and get a bit of engage that way. Otherwise, I don't really see how else they could really go for it. Yeah. But I'll go ahead and say what you're going to say.
I mean, I was just gonna say maybe Nami Bubble too. I suppose that's another ability, Renekton Stun. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem like they have enough lockdown. They really don't have any CC other than Nami and Renekton.
They have no lockdown, but
so-
I will say if they can play around the map well enough and force the fights to come to them, they have great turnaround with the Vladimir Graves and Renekton. That I will say, as well as the tidal wave.
Yeah, their damage is actually ridiculous.
Yeah, so if they can force the fights to come to them rather than trying to play the game of chicken and see who engages on who first, as long as UMD Ramesh will take the bait and go for the fights, I feel like McAllister could try to turn it around in their favor as long as they don't fall too far behind in this early game. Which one thing we've got to look at is going to be the fact that since this is cripple on Rek'Sai, that should mean in a very early blue buff, being able to give over 2 Nerfakali Please on the Victor, making it so that he won't have to worry about running out of mana when going for the hard clears in the early game. And that is something that very much helps against these Vladimir lanes.
I completely agree with you. And to add on to that, if Victor is able to control that Vladimir, that's their only AP source for McAllister. If Vladimir doesn't scale into late game fast enough, they're gonna just be able to snowball it with Rex or Rumble ults, coming in, and Ezreal's mid game power spike. I'm really nervous for that mid lane. If No Boots is not able to control it, or if No Boots is not able to stay stable in that mid lane, I don't think the game's gonna go well for McAllister.
Yes, exactly. But there are ways I can see either team kind of getting ahead or doing something that they can really use to their advantage in order to try and snowball the game into a victory for themselves. For the side of McAllister, I feel like the biggest thing is going to be this mid lane or top lane, yet again, being the main point of focus, just because bot lane could snowball a bit, but I feel like a Fed illusion against the Victor and Rumble is something that shouldn't make a huge difference. Just because, I mean, we've all seen it in stuff like the LCS. When you have double lift on the Lucian dashing in towards a Victor, he always ends up dead. And I'm not sure if it's going to be any different when the Condor tries to do this against Nerfakali Please's Victor.
I mean, it was Crown, wasn't it? I think it was Crown that just deleted double lift.
Yeah, that was back at Worlds.
Yeah, that's gonna never. I'm never gonna let double lift live that down. That was like the throwing point of that series. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, and that's exactly the thing that we have to watch out for in this game too, is if the Condor starts to get ahead, he still has to respect people such as the Victor, the Rumble, and the Rek'Sai, who could all easily jump on top of him if he doesn't hold on to his E properly, something that you also mentioned he'll have to do in lane versus Ezreal Karma.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm excited to see how this one plays out. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty brawly, which is always exciting. And take a look at the summoners here. Looks like...
Things look pretty standard, except I will be saying that I'm surprised that No Boots decide to opt for the Ignite rather than the Ghost. Something that we normally see a lot of Amorous run does, because since they get slowed during their E, and the biggest thing is to make sure you can always proc that third Q, you want the extra movement speed. So I kind of wonder why the Ignites rather than a Ghost. Otherwise, things seem pretty typical. I will say maybe No Boost had an idea that Nerfakali Please would want to run the heal rather than barrier, but I doubt that was the case.
I doubt it too, but hey, it's going to work out, I suppose. A nice little counter for him. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I agree. Vlad should always take Ghost most of the time, just because, like you said, he needs to be in your face to kind of do damage, so that'll be fun to see.
Yeah, we may see something such as a Storm Raider Surge opted towards to make it so you can still get that little burst of movement speed during fights. But that is something that's already for when you're in the middle of a big fight, rather than trying to go for the engage of a big fight, which I feel like that's the big thing that Ghost is used for, not necessarily a chase before an engage. Otherwise, I think another huge thing to look for during this game is going to be whether or not Hear Me Roar tries to go for a hard counter jungling style against Cripple, because I'm pretty sure Graves versus Rek'Sai early on, Graves is going to be the one winning that matchup essentially all the time, as long as it's that consistent 1v1.
Yeah, definitely. Graves is pretty scary against that Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai, I think he needs to actually power farm. I think Rek'Sai can actually power farm, I think, a little bit better than Graves, especially when he gets his ultimate. He can really counter jungle pretty efficiently and able to tunnel over walls and escape. But it's going to have to be aggressive playstyle from Rek'Sai to really be able to control this Graves in the jungle.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically whoever can play more aggressive effectively will be the one to have the opportunity to counter jungle incredibly powerfully and simply dominate the other jungler with the way that these picks went through. Other than that, I feel like the next best option for the side of Ramranch trying to play this Rek'Sai into the grave could also be looking for really early ganks, just because if you counter gank the Rek'Sai towards a Graves gank, that is going to be hugely in the favor of Rek'Sai due to that turnaround potential of the Unburrow. Otherwise, I do not see a huge advantage of picking Rek'Sai into the graves, except for maybe being able to scout out using the Tremor Sense. That is usually the huge competitive value of the champion.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Hey,
you guys have rumble, dude.
Yeah, we actually have it this time, unlike last game, but this is going to be game number 2 that we are now going underway with. McAllister on the blue side with Renekton, Graves in the jungle, Vladimir mid lane, Lacandor with that Lucian AD carry, and a Nami as support. Then we have Snowcane on the Rumble, Cripple on the Rek'Sai jungle, Rivercly please playing that Victor in the mid lane, Kakarino on Ezreal AD carry, and Kyle on that signature Karma yet again.
Let's go.
Yeah, we have it where it's going to be. Little dance in the river right now. No one actually seeing each other, but they are protecting the border entrances into the jungle, and it looks like it's going to be bot side starts from both, or no, bot side start from Hear Me Roar, and then a top start from Cripple.
It looks like they're both starting the Raptors. Well, hopefully they do, because that's what you want to do. Unless, did they do anything to Raptor start in the recent patch? Do you know?
They made it where these small Raptors are harder to kill early on, so trying to go for that Raptor start to make it so you can get level 1 off of them is much harder without a leash.
Okay, interesting. Then it looks like Graves is going to do red. Then and Rek'Sai looks like he's going to try to start Raptors up there, but he does have that Rumble to help him.
Yeah, he also has much more AoE clear than a Graves does, at least early on, due to the 3 Q auto attacks. So I can also see that still being efficient on Rek'Sai, as well as having level 2 for the red, being an additional bit of help with it. Otherwise, I feel like in the early game, Hear Me Roar is going to be having a much faster clear than Cripple, and will be able to impact the lane a little bit sooner if he decides to go for that rather than power farming.
Yeah. Kyle poking a Nami. Looks like the same kind of thing as last game. Both supports just trying to trade as much as possible.
Yeah, and one thing I can say right away is going to be that when you are playing a poke style support, it's much better to focus your poke on the AD carry rather than another support, just because the support has 3 potions that you'll have to burn through, which is going to take way too much mana to actually do, especially if the other support you're poking into is a Nami, who can also just use mana to heal herself back up. It's just not very efficient.
Definitely. Andor getting a little aggressive, trying to get his fervor stacks going. That's one of the most important things to do on lane Lucian, is make sure you get those fervor stacks running. You can efficiently trade them.
Yeah, and the best way to try and gather up those fervor battle stacks is going to be weaving in the double autos between every single spell, which is something that has been smoothed out greatly in Lucian's kits in the last few changes that has happened to him, especially with the speed up to his Q and W, which I have yet to play Lucian after those changes. Do you like the feel of those?
It's Craigasm, baby. Craigasm. It's so nice.
Are we sure we're not having sneaky cast right now? I mean, I can't really tell. Either way, we do have it where Cripple did a full clear of the topside jungle, and it looks like Hear Me Roar wanted to go for a bit of a counter clear, but instead...
Big mid! Okay, he's gonna use both sums and he's gonna get out. Victor gets out. Nice gank though.
Yeah, No Boots does try and utilize that Ignite to do some amount of damage, does not end up actually gain anything close to a kill. And that is going to be one summoner burn for 2, which will be in the favor of No Boots right there. However, that is still a lot of kill pressure drawn away just because you now no longer have that Ignite or any other real offensive summoner spell unless you use Flash aggressively, which is way too risky on a Vladimir.
Condor going aggressive on Cuck, but here comes another gank. Ignite dropped onto Cuck, but Hear Me Roar is getting rooted. He's going to have to flash out. It's like UMD is getting low as well on mana and anything. Okay, heal comes out of Cuck. Little turnaround here. Condor's getting very low. They need to be careful. Nami needs to heal him up. There it is.
Yeah, but now Forward Nightfall is going to be way too low on mana, and there's aggression going along every single lane right now. We had it where there was that gank mid lane and then a gank bot, and now we can already see it where there's aggression in this top side.
Yeah.
Alright, and to just try and catch up real quick, we have it where No Boots already having that Kindle Gem as well as the Dark Seal, making it so that he's going to be having a lot of healing from the potions that he has picked up, and already plenty of defensive stats with that extra health as well as 10% cooldown reduction.
Yeah, that's good. That's definitely good for him. Condor stepping up a lot here. I mean, he's doing some aggressive Lucian things, which is nice to see, but he's got to be careful.
Yeah, he is at least doing that exact thing that you mentioned back in the Champion Select to make sure that when you are playing Lucian into the Karma, you want to save your E to make sure that you can always dash away from the roots, which you did just see happen.
Very nice, very nice. It looks like we got Victor roaming up top. He's just gonna get deleted! Wow, the Croc just gets lasered. He's probably never seen a laser in his life, and he just disappeared from it. What a nice roam from that Victor. Very well done.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that ended up working out, because Nerfakali Please wasn't chunked out at all in lane, which means that there's no reason for him to have backed. And you had wards going a little bit towards the bot side, so you would have seen if he was going there. There's only one other place he can really go, and that's towards top. Why not call that out and tell Sunny Jesus to get away just to play safe? Instead, you have it where he was stuck in the animation for his W, and Nerfakali Please took great advantage of that in order to knock him down and get a kill for himself now.
He actually was able to pick up most of those minions, too, so that was perfectly done by that Victor. And he's going to start poking away at No Boots, but we'll see if he can actually power through Vlad's healing.
Yeah, the biggest thing is going to be if you can get that early Morale Namicon completed onto Nerfakali Please, it's going to be a huge power strike for the Victor, who is a huge mid to late game champion with that scaling. And also you're going to be having that Grievous Wounds applied to No Boots, who, as long as he doesn't finish that Spear Visage too soon, will be able to get chunked down pretty hard.
Ooh, they're going to flash on Akali. He's going to go down here, almost guaranteed. There it is. Very well done. They knew he had no summoners, and they utilized that perfectly. Yeah, they also have it where once you push up even a little too far as a Victor, you don't really have any mobility, so without that flash, even a tiny bit of distance can be enough to really knock you out, especially because of that slow, as well as the huge amount of burst damage that'll be coming through on Hear Me Roar, as well as No Boots. You kind of just have to farm under tower if you're missing that flash. For sure, I agree with that. Okay, so bot lane looking like it's kind of steadied out a little bit. Obviously, Kyle is just always pressuring on this Karma. You can just see how this pick is really nice for him, and he's able to just zone away this Lucian and Nami, and they're making it hard for them to farm, and they're just making them uncomfortable down there, and that's really what you want to do as a Karma.
Yes, exactly, and I absolutely love the way that Kyle's playing on this Karma. It is incredibly aggressive, very poke heavy. Yep. It's not accomplishing a whole lot in terms of trying to get kill pressure, but it is applying a lot of pressure to whenever Lacandor wants to get some farm. Making this is, even though it's only a little bit of CS behind, it's still making it so that eventually it's going to matter as long as this bit of a CS differential can increase over time.
Yeah, I mean, having an Ezreal winning in CS in a lane against a Lucian is actually really, really good for that Ezreal. Because if Lucian gets a little bit ahead of you, he's able to just kind of get on top of you and just kill you.
They don't see Cripple down here.
Down here, he's hiding in that bush and he's going to go in. And it's a nice clean flash from Nightfall.
Yeah, ensuring the
Had a
escape.
flash there to get out.
Still a great gank, though, if you can burn the summon spell Flash, especially when you have it where...
Jesus! Whoa! Taking down Snow Cave just like that!
Yeah, we mentioned before how that Renekton is something that can easily be played aggressive.
Flash from Rek'Sai, Ezreal cock, baby! Look at that! Nice clean ult after the Rek'Sai knockup. Pick him up.
Jeez, I really don't know what in the world is going on with this game. We have it where there's aggression topside, gain a kill for Sunny Jesus, and then immediately follow-up aggression coming in from bot side, having the True Shot Barrage, securing the kill for Kakarino. So now that is going to be a slow start to a Fed 80 carry on the side of UMD Ram Ranch, while also a slightly snowballing Sunny Jesus over in that top side. This is scary for both teams.
Definitely. This is gonna be scary very soon. I got a feeling we got a 5 or maybe a 4-man bot play coming in a bit. I have a feeling it's gonna happen. But
oh yeah, especially with Sunny Jesus saving onto that teleport while Snowkin just uses his. You have that, so it's guaranteed to be an advantage for your team as long as you don't allow Snowkin to walk all the way down. But speaking of, it looks like Snowkin wants to get a little bit of vision into the enemy jungle, gain the Ward River right there, clearing out the pink, but not actually gain any vision of where Humi Roar currently is. So it's not going to accomplish a whole lot, except for trying to keep his mid laner just a little bit safer.
Kyle XO has been able to get some wards out, so for now I think they're safe from a TP play and ganks is like that. He's got very good vision now. I really like that. So I think they're probably looking to play towards bottom side, but Rek'Sai's coming up top, throws a Prey Seeker out.
Yeah, I would really love to see for McNightfall try and get a ward towards that turret on the side of bot, just to make it so that you can have teleport be very deep and basically ensure where you'll want the bot lane to run up towards river, which then you could have no boots come in and get a 3-man pincer out to be an almost guaranteed kill on at least Kyle, unless he burns flash over a wall.
Coming in, bubble lands. Ezreal's able to E out of it though.
Tidal Wave also going through a little too early there to try and get the Tidal Wave out when you already didn't have too much CC on top of him to guarantee the landing.
See Lucian ramping up a little bit, getting that cutlass. Yeah, even though he has guns, he wants to buy a big sword, but it's alright.
Yeah, eventually that big sword is going to be building into a Blade of the Ruin Cane, which is going to be applying plenty of on-hit effects to every single double shot that he gets off with his passive. And that is going to be doing an immense amount of damage in this late game, especially if you stack something such as a Black Cleaver on top of that. And he is really going to shine once we see those two items finished up on him. It's still going to be a little bit, probably a good 10-15 more minutes.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. Sunny Jesus, I mean, he hasn't changed one bit after changing his champion. I mean, he's just going in on this Rumble over and over again. And this time it's a little different than last game, and he's actually able to out-damage his opponent and control the lane a little bit more. It was a good call on that Renekton. I mean, he's controlling the lane quite a bit. I mean, look at this! Snowcane drops ult, but he just goes down to Sunny Jesus again!
Yeah, that was a devastating amount of damage. You had it where you use the Slice and Dice to reduce the armor and then get the Call the Meek in order to just deal a huge amount of burst damage in collusion with the Tiamat proc and active usage. We just saw Snowcane's health bar completely melt, even though he has that Seeker's Arm Guard with max stacks already.
Alright, throws a calling out. Rek'Sai's here though. There's a TP coming in. Karma is incredibly low. Ignite goes down on her. She might die to this. Kakarino getting stunned up. And he just popped again! This Renekton! Sunny Jesus! You are Jesus! Let's see if he can pick up this Renekton. A couple more autos will do it. Oh!
The flashes of Kyle!
Holy buckets! Nerfakali please picks up a Graves though. Picks him up. But man, Sunny Jesus! What is going on?
That was a beautiful play right there. I didn't even know that he could see Kyle with that range, but apparently he spotted him and got the flash to make it into range for the Call the Meek and just decimated him. So that is now going to be a 5-1 Renekton. Once he finishes the back, that should be a Ravenous Hydra completed. Although it looks like Nerfakali please wants to stop this back. Are you sure you want to do that when you just saw him kill all your friends?
Especially with a scuttle there where he can slice and dice right to you. But oh my, this Croc Mate is just popping off, mate.
I mean, we saw that this is exactly the way that Sunny Jesus wanted to play last game. He wasn't able to bring it into fruition, but now he can. Yeah. And this is exactly what happens when you let him get a lead in a lane. He just brings it into the other lanes. He allows his allies to get ahead with them and just destroys everything he walks through. And actually, he doesn't even opt to finish up the Ravenous Hydra. He starts building towards the Black Cleaver, getting all the components for it. So he's going to have far more raw stats, just not nearly as much sustain as he could had he finished Ravenous Hydra, which I feel like the raw stats is going to go much further for him, seeing as he's already so far ahead. He doesn't really need that sustain.
That's probably a good buy. It'll help stick to Rumble as well when he's trying to run away from the Croc. Pressuring bot side here.
Ooh,
okay,
he's already going back in.
Jesus. Okay, look at Snowy doing a little bit better up there, but man, Duluth is just pressuring bottom side incredibly hard, while top side's getting pressured on Duluth incredibly hard by this Jesus. Lucian Call coming in, Cuck eating the whole thing. There's a heal there. Rumble's TPing in behind.
Ooh, looks like they don't really want to try and fight this now that Rumble is here.
Ooh, look at all that AoE damage coming out. One more. Oh, and they all get oh, the Prey Seeker from Cripple picking up Nami. Nice play here by Duluth.
And that will mean first tower is going straight over to UMD. Meanwhile, it should be a trade for both mid and top. Should Human be able to finish clearing this out, it looks like the side of UMD wants to go for this Dragon, which is going to be giving up the tower completely here rather than trying to defend it. A little surprising they're going to be allowing 2 towers to go down for 1 and a Dragon. It makes it a far more even trade. And most of the gold is going to be centered around the 2 people that are already decently ahead on the side of McAllister, that being Sunny Jesus as well as Human Roar. Human Roar, not a kill lead, but pretty heavy farm lead as well as a decent amount of pressure he's been able to apply to these lanes. Speaking of,
Nokan just getting dove on by. There's nothing he can absolutely do.
Just because to show that. Yeah, just because to show that when you bring the sun right to the snow, it's gonna melt. Exactly like that Rumble did.
Yep, exactly. Ooh, Nerf a call it. Okay, he got his B off. Looks like Duluth is getting pressured here all around the map, so I think they're going to want to get some defensive vision up. Ooh, Kyle XO getting a little bit caught out here, but...
Yeah, we saw him going for those very forward movements in the last game, trying to make it so he can get some vision, or at least try to threaten whoever he's walking towards, making it so that it's unknown whether or not his team will be there to follow. But honestly, Sunny Jesus so far ahead, having the Titanic Hydra. Actually, finishing that, I'm curious as to what the pickaxe is there for now, though, if it's not going to be for a Ravenous Hydra. Either way, we'll find out eventually, since he will have to use that item to complete something. Who knows? We may see an Infinity Edge Renekton here, and just have a full crit.
Dude, come on, Ginsu's? Let's go.
Oh yeah, Ginsu's Renekton with that 0 AP scaling. Oh, I think there's like a tiny bit AP scaling in his ultimate, I don't know. I'd have to look.
I think he does.
Yep, he does. Okay. Okay, he's going for the AP to make sure that he has that, extra damage from his Dominus, but either way, he's going to be going in a 1v2 lane now, which is a little bit interesting, the fact that he's going to be allowed from his team to try and keep up in that. Maybe we'll see him pull off a 1v2 kill here. Otherwise, with how fed he is, I could easily see it done. The main issue being, though, the amount of peel that will come through both a Karma and an Ezreal will be hard to get some sticking power onto without some help, which help has just arrived.
Help has arrived, and he's able to get the stun here, but he's going to get rooted down. He might have overstepped his bounds. Lucian Call able to eat up a little bit. Cripple getting taken down by Lucian and Renekton. Renekton flashes away from Ezreal's... Oh, and Kyle flashes the Vlad. Well done. Still chasing. Okay, back up.
Yeah, so both the True Shot and the Barrage, as well as the Hemoplague, end up missing 2 huge ultimates that could have turned that fight around just a little bit more into the favor of either team. But now it's going to be 4-man in the top lane. Meanwhile, we can see 2 members of McAllister or of UMD trying to pressure this mid tower here. And while it will be a trade,
Fuck, getting caught out. Cannot stand there with Sunny Jesus is just continually hard carrying and getting these stuns on champions that really shouldn't be getting stunned like that. But hey, it's happening and Jesus is doing it.
Yeah, it just goes to show that when you allow him to play these highly aggressive champions such as the Renekton, Obviously, this is why they want to have that first pick Renekton. It is working out beautifully for them. They did give up that karma.
Coming in though, holy cow! That's a double kill for Victor, and they're gonna get another one here. I think.
Maybe
do it. Gets knocked
out. No, he's down.
He's gonna get cooked alive. But wow, what a turn by Duluth! Rumble ult was very clean in the corridor by the red buff, able to land on the 3 of them, and that's just a little bit of an overstay by McAllister, and I really think they threw a little bit there.
Oh, that definitely was a throw. There is no doubt about that, but at the same time, it's still essentially equal gold on both teams, only being 700 ahead on the side of UMD Ram Ranch. But there is one thing to remember, and that's going to be that most of the gold on the side of McAllister is focused purely on to Sunny Jesus right now, who is the crux of the team at the current moment. So if he is able to fall behind even a little bit, since Renekton isn't the hardest scaling champion for top laners, it really has to be a wonder as to what McAllister wants to do should this game start lasting too long, and you really have to start applying whatever lead is onto Sunny Jesus into other areas of the game.
Yeah, let's see if they're going to be able to do that. I think it's going to be a little tough, but I think that involves a lot of vision control. I think that's what they're lacking a little bit. If they were able to get some vision control, they could maybe fight in these jungles a little bit better instead of just kind of running it down a lane. And I mean, I'm thinking maybe a TP from behind from Renekton would do the trick, wouldn't it? You could just get Renekton on the back line and just start deleting people and allow the other team and your team to follow up in front. I think that's what they should do.
Oh, exactly. If they can get Sunny Jesus into the backline, threatening Kakarina as well as Nerfakali, please, that would spell out near death for the Curies of UMD Ram Ranch. Right now, he is just really far ahead, has, as mentioned before, essentially all the gold of his team. So you really have to utilize that. The biggest issue is, though, it's going to be way too hard with the way that Ram Ranch is playing to try and get wards behind them, although he could look for a teleport here right at that top wave.
Yeah, I think
I see
He
is looking for it. There it is!
On, though. TP coming in as well from Rumble. Rek'Sai coming in as well. Graves is going to get it rooted. No, he flashes out. Sunny Jesus is actually alone in the back line. Can he survive this? Trying to get to his team and does not get there. Rumble ult falling on it too. Nami getting cut down. I think the rest of the team is out, but oh, that could have been the perfect play, but I think his team pulled the trigger a little early. Nami's falling, Graves is falling, and that
almost another
is a lot.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue right there with that fight was definitely the lack of commitment. They had it where they were going for that victory kill, but then the moment they saw other members, the rest of the team backed out. Sunny Jesus completed the teleport. But then he just kind of sat there wondering where the rest of his team was, because they were telling him to come, and there was no follow-up at all, which is really awkward as a top laner when you're teleporting into a fight like that, and it left him to die.
Of death. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of a sad death for the Croc, especially when he gets exhausted in front of, like, his 5 people. It's like, well, I'm a goner.
Oh, especially when they had things such as the Hemo Plague as well as the Tidal Wave available to continue and follow up for that fight. That would have been huge had they just simply thrown the Tidal Wave down there and then put the Hemo Plague on top of Victor. That could have been easily one fight.
I agree with that, and just Victor is pumping out damage at this point. He is getting scary. He's about to get his Lich Bane. Oh, Rumble takes a Blast Cone over. It's a little aggressive here. Lad getting rooted. Looks like McAllister's able to get this dragon.
Yeah, and it's something that we actually talked about last game, where items such as...
Oh, there it is! No, this dash and its ult to get over the wall and drop pitifully in the dragon pit.
Oh, that is so sad when you have it where both of your dashes in your kit. Thankfully, you didn't have flash up because it would have been even more sad if we saw the failed flash. But when you mess up both dashes in your kit to go over a wall like that and still die, it is just so sad. Alright.
That was actually hilarious, but alright.
It was.
Forget about that one.
But hey, with that Lich Bane coming into Nerfakali, please, as you mentioned before, we were talking about this last game, how the items that offer mobility as well as huge amounts of burst damage, such as the Lich Bane and Luden's Echo, they are great for when you're ahead, as is Nerfakali, please, but he is not with his team!
Snowcane. Snowcane almost goes down. He's able to live with the shielding, but Sonny Jesus, here he is. He's trying to get on a Kakarino. Clean rumble ult, forcing both of them into that cranny. Condor able to live with a few HP, but they're going to have to retreat here. Oh, Kakarino with the snipe on the no boost. Their skills continually chasing. Rek'Sai gets a knock up on Graves. Graves trying to kite back, but he's just getting poked and poked and poked and prodded, and he goes down. Lucian,
this is a 4v5!
Lucian, Ezreal might go down here low. No, it's good. That was a 4v5.
Yeah, that was a 4v5 while Nerfecai Please was simply pushing in that top lane turret the entire time. So if they're losing a 4v5 where the person with the most gold inside of UMD is in the top lane, what's that going to mean when he actually joins the team for a full 5-on-5 fight next time?
Pretty scary. I mean, the sad thing is Victor wasn't able to have his Lich Bane when he was splitting like that. Otherwise, he'd probably get the in-him tower, but hey, he'll get it now. And the rest of his team is also just getting a big boost of gold through that team fight. Really well done by Duluth. Rek'Sai going pretty much full tank. Good, I think. Kinda need that. Io sitting here clearing vision. Making sure that they can maybe secure this red buff for his cuck, even though he just grabbed it. Okay. Okay, that looks like Fen might be on here, but I'll continue casting. So it looks like UMD here, just trying to posture up for the mid push, clearing wards. Cuck is able to just poke away. He also has Grievous wounds, so he is going to be able to poke on this Vladimir and not let him heal up. Nami heals aren't going to be as efficient either. And the Croc is going to have to go bot lane and wave clear. Ooh, Nami getting jumped on. Forces a flash. Well done. Here comes Ezreal. Will he get the snipe? No, he won't. Traded on by Graves. It looks like we got a 1-4 here. Rumble top lane by himself. Pushing. Flash is in! This might be... Whoa! Look at the ultimate coming out. Absolutely deletes the 2 AD carries on McAllister, and that is going to spell doom for them. They're going to be able to get maybe 2 inhims here. They're going to go up top side because they have the wave there. Nami lands a bubble on Rumble, slowing it down a little bit. Kakarino going aggressive again. He's really getting these eased nicely. Able to put down a lot of damage on the enemy team. Now they're rotating towards mid Nexus towers. Vladimir all-inning this Victor, but he literally didn't take any damage. Croc, I'm sorry, man, but the game, and your champion does not scale. I'm really sorry to say, but you played incredibly well. The Croc fought hard, but hey, this is going to be just the death woes. You can just hear him crying and moaning their way to losing here. Nami dancing in front of Kyle, and we're going to get a good game here. Oh! E to the G to the G. Alright, well, looks like we got UMD Ram Ranch taking the series 2-0 over McAllister. It was a well-fought game by both teams. Coming out of that Croc topside, Sonny Jesus. Yeah, no, he was able to stomp early game incredibly hard, but it was a lot harder for him to hard carry there at the end there, but it was very well played. And Duluth playing very well as a team. It seems like they have quite a bit of chemistry, and they are able to team fight correctly most of the time and pick the right fights. They're a very aggressive team in that kind of aspect, team fighting a lot, but it's very well done by them. I'm gonna have to give player of the game to that's a tough one actually. Probably gonna have to give it to Kyle XO because he's my boy, and my boy is my dog. You know what I mean? The karma both games. He's going to be MVP of this series. He was able to control vision very well, able to help Cucurino survive and against even that Croc. I mean, and he played it very, very well. So, and I don't know where Fen went. Let's take a look at the damage charts here. Telltale story. See how much the Croc did. Okay, 16K.
All right, and I'm here. Game is done, and actually Don's computer crashed, but this is Sir Buttkick joining in just for the last little bit here. I heard you talking a little bit about what had happened during that last match of Dewey. I didn't get to see the whole thing, but it looks like UMD was able to pull a second win of the evening. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. It was a pretty low-fought game, but they got this. They got the dub.
So a clean 2-0. It's actually, as weird as that is, it's been the trend throughout the playoffs so far. Every single quarterfinals match has been 2-0 in favor of the higher-seeded team. So pretty scripted, I guess. You can call it right now. MNLCS is scripted.
Cool stat, though. That's interesting.
But going forward, we're going to have some more games coming up for the semifinals. Keep in mind, Ganked by Gophers against Chicken Chasers will be happening April 25th, a Tuesday night at 7 p.m. And now Ram Ranch from Duluth will be playing against Mankato at a date that is still to be decided. We're going to check with both teams, see what their availability is, and figure out what time they can play against each other for the semifinals. The winner of Ganked by Gophers and Chicken Chasers will go to the finals, and then the winner of Ram Ranch against Mankato will go to the finals. Keep in mind, Mankato won every single game in the split except for the game against Ganked by Gophers. So again, they're the second seed team. Ganked by Gophers is the first seed team. So just in terms of favorited to win, we're expecting to most likely see Ganked by Gophers against Mankato in a grudge match for the finals. But there is always opportunity for some kind of upset. And that's what we live for. Anytime there's a tournament bracket and there's an upset, I freaking just go nuts. What do you feel about that, Dewey?
Hell yeah, dude. I love playoff time. It's always fun. People are always stepping up, raising their level a little higher, and it always makes for entertaining games, and they always fight to the end, except when it's Season 1 finals. But, you know, that's all right.
You know what? Even though it is Season 1 split to finals, there is still such a thing as playoff buff. So some of these teams, they're playing with that playoff buff. It's 2 out of 3. And actually, going towards the finals and then the game deciding third place is going to be a best of 5 series. So that's also an extra little layer added in there. These games are going to be going for longer. The matches will absolutely be going for longer because there will be less likely a chance of a sweep when it's best of 5. And that's really what we got to focus on is what can these teams figure out about each other when it's that best of 5 set. But again, stick around. April 25th is coming Tuesday, 7 p.m. That's going to be our next broadcast. We have yet to decide the casters, but it is tentatively going to be me, Sir Buttkick, with Sam Moneytrees Duco. Dewey, you did a fantastic job tonight. Thank you so much. You'll be on most likely for the next game coming up. Anything you want to say, though, for the fans going forward here?
Sure. You can find me at Carrot Patch 101 on Twitter, and my stream is twitch.tv/DeweyGolf. I stream every once in a while. Come on in, say hi. You know, I'm always down to have a good chat.
And follow the Twitter to get the times of the streams, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that typically how it goes?
It's a 1-2 punch there. So, I mean, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm having a great time casting, and appreciate you, Sir Butt Kick, for coming in at the end and saving me.
Oh, of course, anytime. So thank you so much for our sponsor, NV Gaming, helping us out with our sponsorships, helping us put on this production. Go check out their website. Thank you so much to the teams providing us all the entertainment for the evening. All you viewers out there giving us an audience to put this production on for, and especially thanks to the background group here. We casters get a lot of the praise, but 90% of the work comes from the people on the back line, the analysts, the streamers specifically. So thank you so much, all of our streamers, or our specifically one streamer. It's been one guy for all the playoffs, if you can imagine that. So thank you so much, Mike. You've been amazing. And hope to see you all next time on Tuesday, April 25th at 7 p.m. Have a great time, and until then, take care.
Bye. It's coming in behind. Nami wave all slants two against the double bubble. Force all lands. This is going to be a dead Galen. She heals. She flashes and she's out. TP's coming in. Snowcade jumps in. He's going to knock one up. Another TP from Riora. Tucker Reynolds really low. Sunny Jesus dropping to a down. Ivor, look at Daisy popping off. Shockwave lands on a Snowcade. Oh, no, down. UFC looks like they're going to win this one.
That is.
Tommy's going out as well. On the back side. They're going to pick maybe one more up. Flash Syndrome. Wow, what a UFC just turned. It's coming in. There it is. No. TP coming in as well for Rumble. Rek'Sai coming in as well. Graves is going to get it rooted. No, he flashes out. Sunny Jesus is actually alone in the back line. Can he survive this? Trying to get to his team and does not get there. Rumble ult.